You.
What's on my mind this morning? It's hard to have a morning like this and not be thinking about the people of the Bahamas at this particular time, especially if you've been seeing the dozens of videos going around on social media with people, this Hurricane Dorian has been lingering over the Bahamas. And when I say lingering, it's been moving westerly at just 1 mile per hour. You understand how slow 1 mile per hour is? You can walk faster than that, Kamisha. During the break, I Googled what is the average walking speed. It's 3 miles per hour.
Wow.
So imagine if this hurricane is not just walking, but strolling. Snail's pace, wow. like baby speed, crawling across the Bahamas at 1 mile per hour, dumping all this rain with almost 200 miles per hour winds, like 180 mile per hour wind speeds. So the second strongest hurricane ever on record, just sitting over your country and not moving. And we know how slow it's been because we've been seeing these videos coming out from early yesterday. Right. So this is now day 2. Normally a hurricane is in and out in less than a day. It passes over a few hours. And recall the composition of the Bahamas as well. It's a country made up of several hundred little islands, and many of them are spread apart. So they're not necessarily very, very close to each other. So where the storm is now is in the northern part of the Bahamas. So yesterday it passed over Abaco, and today it's over Grand Bahama. And I'm looking at a map of the Bahamas now, so that would mean that the capital Nassau has been spared, which is on New Providence Island, which would be south of Abaco and Grand Bahama. So fortunately, the capital where the majority of people in the Bahamas live, and a lot of the big infrastructure and the hotels, that's been spared. But that doesn't mean that there still isn't great devastation for these islands that the hurricane has hit. And yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, he broke down in tears as he spoke about the passage of Hurricane Dorian.
This is probably the most saddened and worst day of my life to address the Bahamian people. And I just want to say that as a physician, I've been trained to withstand many things, but never anything like this. We're facing a hurricane, Hurricane Dorian, that we've never seen in the history of Bahamas. Wind velocity as high as 180 miles per hour, with gusts in excess of 200 miles per hour. Now, homes are built to withstand at least 150 miles per hour. So this would put us to a test that we've never confronted before.
And you heard one of the things that he said, that their homes are actually built to withstand winds of 150 miles per hour.
Yeah,
so I don't know, that's like a category 3. I'm not sure if that reaches a category 4 yet. So they consider that in the construction of their homes. So imagine here in Jamaica, where many homes do not meet that standard, where many homes can barely withstand a strong breeze. When we have a little rain and people get, washed away, basically. And these homes have been built to withstand 150 mile per hour hurricane. So what does Mother Nature do? Send a 180 mile per hour hurricane your way. And, watching the images from the Bahamas yesterday it just broke my heart, looking at what these people have to endure. And the one video that has gone viral, I saw Lenny Kravitz posting it as well. He's from the Bahamas. So he posted it. It got a whole lot of attention. Was that video with the woman and her 4-month-old baby? The video is about 5 minutes long in their apartment complex with several other people. The roof had been blown off, and they were just like all caught up in one corner, trying to seek shelter, I guess, against a wall. And she was describing how they were trying to move to a big white house on the other side. And I'm there thinking, how exactly are you going to move to that White House when between you in your apartment building and that White House is at least 10 feet of water?
And a raging storm.
At least 10 feet of water and a raging storm. Like, how exactly are you going to make it over there? But this is a clip from that video.
Please pray for us. Please pray for us, everyone. Please pray for us. Me and my baby. Everyone that stay in the apartment building, we stuck right here. Please pray for us. Pray for us. Pray for Abigail, please. I'm begging y'all. My baby's only 4 months old. Please pray for us. I'm begging y'all. Pray for us. The apartment building we stay in, the whole roof came off. We standing right here. People trying to make it to the other side where this white house is, but some people, the water just took them, and those are the only people that got to make it over there.
Mm-hmm. So that's the video I was referring to, and if you have a chance to go online and try looking it up, if you haven't seen it yet, you'll see what I mean. I can barely do it justice trying to describe what the scene looked like, but you can hear the panic in her voice, and just pray for us, pray for me, pray for my baby, all the other people in this complex. It's heartbreaking to listen to the desperation in her voice at a time like this. She and the others were on the island of Abaco yesterday as the storm passed. And she described how some people did make it over to the White House, but also that the storm had washed away some people. So exactly my concern, how exactly are you going to get over there in the middle of a hurricane, a very powerful one, at a time like this? And you heard the report of the little boy who died as well. He's either 7 or 8 years old, and his sister was washed away. Well, they were in the middle of a similar type of situation. They were trying to make their way over to somewhere, I guess, that they perceived as safer than where they were. And he drowned, and his sister was washed away. She's now missing. They can't account for her. And not only that, but hundreds of people are now missing and feared dead in the Bahamas. And you heard Prime Minister Minnis speak as well to his appeals for people in the days leading up to the hurricane to evacuate. Evacuate, leave these islands. These are low-lying islands. Come to higher ground. We're going to help you get there. We'll take you there. And he also said, don't send calls for us to rescue you in the middle of the hurricane, because I'm not gonna put my rescue workers' lives at risk. 180-mile-per-hour winds to come save you when we already told you in advance to evacuate. And it boggles my mind every time I hear those stories, because I wonder, I can't understand why people insist on staying in an unsafe area when a hurricane is approaching.
Some feel like they've weathered things before, so they'd weather this one as well. But that would be underestimating this. This was category 5.
Dramatically underestimating this particular storm, or any storm for that matter. And some of them say they want to protect their property. And I just sit there thinking, how exactly are you going to protect your property from a hurricane? What can you, a mortal human being, do that can protect? Are you going to physically hold the roof on while the storm is blowing? Because once that roof is gone, what are you going to do to protect that property?
Did you see the number of cars that were just strewn across the place? So they were blown and banged up and everything. You can't protect those.
You can't protect it. And I understand that hurricanes, post-hurricane, is a time for looting. Often. There's often is looting. And so people would be concerned that their homes would be looted. But that typically happens after the hurricane. And so if you're concerned about that, then just try to get back home as soon as possible after the storm has passed. But don't stay in an unsafe area in the middle of a hurricane. And, for the past few weeks, people have saying, oh, this hurricane season is pretty slow. We're just at D. It's now September too, and we've only had 4 named storms. And I've been telling, and this was before Dorian, so I forget what the C one was that we were watching for a little while. And I said, remember, late August, early September. For some reason, those few weeks right there is when there always tends to be the most intense activity. And so said, here comes Dorian over the Bahamas, lingering, creeping, and now heading towards the United States. South Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas are all bracing for the impact of the storm. But for now, let's keep the people of the Bahamas in our prayers and reach out with assistance as soon as we can. That's what's on my mind.